With development pressures, climate change and declining space for connectivity across the Greater Sydney Basin and beyond, there is an increasing need for restorationists, plant producers, planners and landscape architects to collaborate on ensuring natives of the correct provenance and genetics are conserved as well as planted within urban spaces.
Michael Kneipp I'm going to introduce now. Michael has a bush regen background and project management, large and small projects. He works to manage the Northern Beaches Local Government Area Bushcare program, has done for the last 5 years. Guess how many volunteers he coordinates? 250 over 52 sites, including 2 community nurseries, which he designed and purpose-built. So we'll hear from Michael.
Thank you very much. Thank you for asking me to talk today. Yes, it's before I start today, I did want to sort of give a little background to this project. It was about 12 months ago that I got a phone call from Paul Gibson-Roy. He seems to be a familiar theme today in a lot of projects. And he was telling me that he's taken on a project down in Victoria and living on the Northern Beaches, he had an idea that wouldn't it be great if we could get some wildflower meadows and beds across the Northern Beaches. And at the time, I was in the middle of building a brand new community state-of-the-art nursery. And I said, you wouldn't believe the timing of this, Paul. So anyway, we got together and had a few chats, and so this is a project that is in the making at the moment, and but I just wanted to sort of give that little background to where we go from here. So it's wildflowers across the Northern Beaches. What are we doing? The project is about establishing wildflower beds within underutilised areas which are currently habitually mown and have no recreational value. There are many areas in the LGA that may be suitable to establish locally native wildflowers. These are currently weed infested or mown. Examples are grass verges, end of walking tracks, edges of parklands, entry and exit points to suburbs. The council plans to collect, produce and store the seed for the project at our community nursery and develop a seed production area within the nursery at Curl. These are examples of what I'm talking about. This is an area between Warriewood and Monavale. That's sort of Cook's Terrace Street on the corner there. My grandfather actually built one of the first houses on that street. So as long as I've been alive, I've walked past there and it's been nothing but just mown lawn. And it's also high profile on Pittwater Road. So I think the establishment along there would be great. This is another area coming out of Newport, heading up towards Avalon. It's a grass thin strip on the left-hand side, which again, to my knowledge, is just always mown. And I think it has thousands of cars going up there, particularly on the weekends, going to Palm Beach. This is at the boardwalk coming out of Longreef Surf Club towards Griffith Park. And again, it's high profile, just an area where it'd be wonderful to sort of connect the bushland corridor to some wildflowers. The establishment of local native ground covers, forbs, will assist in the ecosystem, such as filtration, carbon capture, fauna habitat, flow of genetic material, and to create living corridors. Also, there's a really good opportunity to create a different type of environmental volunteering with minimal supervision, as well as the opportunity to educate the community and local environment issues. To assist in creating sustainable native seed bank for wildflowers, grasses and forbs. Particularly in the volunteering aspect, there's a lot of people that can't go to traditional bushcare volunteering, either because they have issues in the bush or some disabilities or tick allergies or time issues. And this is a system where we could create these beds in particular areas and they would be able to manage and supervise them at their own leisure, in their own time, gathering their community together, within the guidelines that we create. Also to enhance the environment and visual amenity and possibly create tourism opportunities in the future. Paul said to me also, as his study in the US, some of these towns, people travel hundreds of miles to come and see some of these native wildflowers and meadows because they are just so attractive and just really responsive. And obviously we've had really good initial outcome response from the community at our Community Nursery Open Day. Again, Paul did a little talk for us, and we just had great response from both the community and councillors. This is just an overview. So at council amalgamation, it was in 2016 between Pittwater, Warringah and Manly councils, and as part of that there was a fund of money to be given to the community for different projects. We were fortunate enough to gain some funding to build the community nursery. So I just wanted to give you this overview because essentially you can see it was built on an old bowling green. The top part of it is a community garden that is run by the community, Curl Community Garden, and they do an amazing job. I was allocated a quarter of a bowling green to construct 3 hothouses and a potting shed and workshop, and then the other quarter of a bowling green has actually been allocated for creative space, but I have other ideas of what we could do there. And seed production area seems mighty fine to me, doesn't it, Paul? And creative space can be created somewhere else, but we'll get there on that one. So I just wanted to give you that overview. And so these are pictures from the side. So on the right hand side is our indoor area, obviously, as you can see. What we tried to do when we designed it is create it so everything's mobile. We can move everything around, we can move everything out and have a workshop in there. On the right hand side is where we're going to have our seed storage and seed cool room, fridges. We're actually having the VCN here for the summer edition, if anyone is going to that. And then that outdoor area is where most of the production is done with the volunteers. This nursery is run by one of my staff who have volunteers there on a Monday. And they've got 2 hothouses full of plants going since May. So they've done an amazing job. Okay, how are we doing this? Well, we prepared a detailed business plan, which we've put to council. 2 minutes, radio. Seed is sourced locally and transplanted to areas directly. Use the nursery and the SPA to provide social educational training opportunities for the broader community. And we also want to utilise the bush and urban care programs as vehicles to use the seed and plants produced. We're also going to trial it at a established permaculture plot on public land. We're going to seek funding to assist and expand the program. These wildflower, these beds here are part of our trial plot that we've got at the nursery themselves. We're going to have 6 of them going in the next month or so. Risk to the project, lack of council support and community interest, which I don't think will happen. Lack of funding, I don't think that will be a problem because I don't know we're going to need a lot of money, and our project brief we put together is pretty strong. Community losing interest in the beds falling into a unruly state, I think could be a problem, and we'll need to address that. Ensure that we've got all stakeholders within council on board. And then just a couple of questions like what we've talked about today. How important is provenance as opposed to diversity? And as land managers, particularly dealing in modified landscapes that we do, how precious do we have to be with provenance, or more concerned with the diversity for both the flora and fauna? Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Michael. Gee, that's the basic question a lot of people are asking.